Let's give him some of that old razzle dazzle combo nonsense going on. What's up, everybody? Today I have a hero that I have been playing a lot lately that I'm interested to do a guide on, and actually it's not going to be one of my normal guides because this hero I'm going to talk about how to play him, how you can play him in 4 different positions. He can be played as a core in either the mid or the offlane, and he can also be played as a support in the position 4 or position 5 positions. So let's go ahead. For those of you who don't know, my name is Navitz. I'm representing my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, and this guide is brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class. Learn from the pros, boost your gaming skills with Gamers Class. Let's begin the way we typically begin with these guides and talk about items, skill, and talent trees. Now I'm gonna modify this one here. This is Tortellini's, and Dazzle is a very versatile hero, and we're talking about him in a lot of different positions. So I'm gonna explain the thought process behind it, and everything is revolving around bad juju. So the way this works is it gives you a cooldown reduction of 26, 38, and 50%, which means that items with active abilities is what you're going to want to buy. First off, your starting items, you're typically going to want to do this in every lane, whether you're a core or support. You're going to want to get a set of tangos, a healing salve, a enchanted mango, and a blight stone, as well as an observer ward if you are the position 4 or the mid. Now the reason you want the blight stone is because you do armor reduction and your spells do physical damage. Your spells actually aren't magical, as strange as that is. It's physical damage. I was thinking about this the other day, how Beastmaster's axes are magical damage, but Dazzle's shadow wave of magical damage is physical. A magical spell is anyway, doesn't matter. So if they are physical damage spells, and you're gonna want to get armor reduction because it'll make the spells more powerful. So these are your starting items. The armor reduction and the blightstone really helps with Dazzle. Now what you're going to want to do is build items that help you, or that combine with bad juju. So the arcane boots are really good because even at level 6 you get a 26% cooldown reduction. This means you basically never have mana problems with Dazzle once you get to the arcane boots. You want the magic wand, and typically you're going to want, the first thing you're going to want to build into is Guardian Greaves. If you get to level 16 or 18, your Guardian Greaves only end up having a 20-second cooldown. They have a base cooldown of 40 seconds. That means every 20 seconds you can cast Guardian Greaves. Guardian Greaves aren't just a healing mechanic, they're also a dispel, so it can dispel things off of you. It's a basic dispel. Very good. You're gonna want other active items as well, like Glimmer Cape, which is very good, or a Hex. Solar Crest is really nice because it builds out of a medallion of courage. Pipe is really good if your team doesn't have anyone else who's going to build a pipe, and then you're going to also want, in some cases, to buy the Necronomicon, and that is usually when you're a core, probably not when you're a support. If you're a support and you're building the Necro book, you're probably taking farm away from your core players, so I wouldn't suggest it. Now I'm going to talk about the skill builds. I'm going to adjust what Tortellini has here. I don't like that you go shadow. This is where everyone gets mad at Dazzle, but having 1 point in shallow grave is kind of useless. The spell only has 550 cast range, and if you manage to shallow grave someone at level 4, first off, their respawn times are pretty small. Second off, you're probably sacrificing yourself to shallow grave them. Instead, what you should do is take more points in shadow wave, give your team more healing, do more damage, and play that way. Now the spell that you level up first, the spell that you max leveling first is between Poison Touch and Shadow Wave, and that really depends on how the game is going. If you're playing with illusion heroes or heroes who are running and being very active, I would go with Shadow Wave because you do more damage based on the amount of people around a hero. If you're going with Poison, if you're farming or playing a more slow-paced game, go Poison Touch, because with Poison Touch you can actually farm jungle camps very easily. You can get yourself to your arcane boots and on your way to your Guardian Greaves, and you can also harass and kill people really well with Poison Touch. I'll explain more about that while we watch the replay or watch a couple segments of replays, but Poison Touch is such a good kill mechanic because of the refreshing of the duration. If you hit somebody who has Poison Touch on them, it refreshes the duration, keeping them slowed, doing damage per second, and that's what it does. So shallow grave, I typically don't end up getting it until until a later level, a much later level. The only time I will get it is if I'm in a fight or I'm getting close, or I might be in a fight and I save a skill point just in case I need the shallow grave. Like, you can do it that way. The one caveat with this approach is that every single time you do this and you don't have shallow grave leveled up and your core dies in front of you, it doesn't matter how bad of a mistake they made or what would have happened, whether they would have died or not, or maybe you could have legitimately saved them, but no matter what, you will get pinged for not having shallow grave. People will flame you, I guarantee it. It's happened 92% of the time for me, and that's an exact approximation. So that's what you need to know about that. Now, talking about the rest of the skills, so you're gonna max out poison touch or shadow wave based on those things that I said. It's not necessarily in this order here. Poison touch I usually go first, but shadow wave can go pretty quick as well, or can be also the first one that you level up. Now, looking at the talent tree, 50 damage is what I would typically go with every time, because the 1.5 mana regen, not that important when you have arcane boots. They have a 55-second cooldown. You eventually get greaves have a 40-second cooldown, and at level 16 you're reducing cooldowns by 50%, 20 seconds every greaves. You don't need the mana regen that much. You very rarely have mana issues on Dazzle, and a couple clarities can make up for the fact that you can have an extra 50 damage. 50 is a lot. Level 15, almost always take the 150 cast range. I usually don't buy an Aether Lens. I don't like this item on Dazzle because I think the actives are so much better, and he doesn't have that many range issues with his magic spells. Sometimes you can get it if like you really need to stay out of range of somebody, like just be completely hidden, but most of the time I don't buy the Aether Lens. Anyways, so still, you take the range talent at level 20. The 36 poison touch DPS, super good. It's better than the 30 movement speed. The 36 plus 36 poison touch DPS basically means that if you poison touch a creep wave, it will die without you having to do anything else. You just walk away and it dies. And at level 25, the 32% poison touch slow, I would definitely go with that. That gives them a, what is that, 52% slow for a duration of 8 seconds, and anytime they get hit, that's refreshed. That's kind of nutty. The plus 0.4 bad juju armor, so that's the other thing that bad juju does, is it reduces the armor for each spell that you cast for units in the area for a certain duration. It's not bad, but it's not really as good as this amount of slow. This amount of slow is just nutty, so that's what I would recommend. Now we'll talk about Holy Locket real quick. The item is still kind of, I think it's going to be reworked very soon, so don't worry too much about Holy Locket. You definitely want a stick into a wand. Don't worry too much about Holy Locket most of the time. It's pretty expensive to build into for what it gives you. You can get it situationally. There's other items you can also situationally get, like an Octarine core. You could go physical damage build and go for Ags if you're a core player. Let's really quickly see a core build, actually. I will click on who's got me with a core build. Immortal Faith. So a core build from Immortal Faith, you can see we'll talk about this real fast. The difference between a core player and a support player, that would be a support player's guide. For a core player, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get Necro Book first, because Necro is going to be your farming item. You basically have Necros all of the time because of how bad Juju works. You have very little downtime on them, even when this is level 1, and then you're going to get items that help you basically team fight. You're going to want to get the BKB, you're going to want to get the Scythe of Ice, you're probably going to get up to Necro 3s, you're going to walk around, deward everything, and then you're just going to build big items depending on what your team needs. And if you do build the Agnum Scepter, which I don't recommend, but I've seen some people do it, especially in pro games, Agnum Scepter, what it does is it lets Dazzle cast or launch an attack at every unit in range every time he casts a spell, which is pretty cool. So you can go for a physical damage build as well. Like I said, though, I wouldn't recommend that strategy. I prefer the utility based strategy on Dazzle. Since I typically do guides on cores, we're starting with the support version of Dazzle first. And the most important thing I want to point out here is where I am placing this ward. So if I take a look at Fog of War, And why I have placed this ward here, it is because of my spell Poison Touch, and because this will give me vision behind this tree line, which will sometimes allow me to get a kill. If there's a hero who's trying to hide here, I can Poison Touch them during the lane. Now if I do Poison Touch them, it will make it obvious that this ward's here, but it will also give me the opportunity to get a kill. Now we're starting in lane. The first thing that I do is I Poison Touch this guy. If we're able to continuously hit him, the Poison Touch will refresh, and a lot of the times you're able to get a kill very early because of that. Actually, I don't know if we're able to get one here. Let's speed it up a bit and find out. But you are able to get quite a few kills. Quite a few kills at first blood because of Poison Touch. Now I'm basically, I think, just gonna chase this guy down. The Ancient Apparition, yeah, he came forward, I slowed him with Poison Touch, I got the kill, and then the Clockwork TP's in and gets the counter kill on me, but that's not bad. I got first blood. Our lane has been going relatively okay. We've been trading pretty well with the Faceless Void and Ancient Apparition, but I do have a Night Stalker in my lane, and it's about to be 5 minutes. So here, I've been just constantly using Poison Touch. You see that I get it to level 2 here. Void has to time walk away, and we have Poison Touch off on the Ancient Apparition. So this makes it very hard for Ancient Apparition to run away. Even if he got under tower here, he still would have ticked away. And now Void is in a little bit of trouble because the Night Stalker is just putting pressure on him. And then we actually do get the double kill there. My Night Stalker dies. They don't get any of the experience. That is an A1 play for us, and I'm gonna head over up here to get the bounty ruins. So that is a really nice way to use Poison Touch to get some kills. Basically, you want to try to refresh the duration of Poison Touch as often as possible, and at level 2 you can start killing. I have been trying to give my Night Stalker more experience, and then when Void comes back to lane, what I'm going to try to do essentially is not die to him, try to get some last hits, and also try to get some denies. But my main goal is don't die to Void while my Night Stalker is gone. Now that my Night Stalker is back, we can continue putting pressure on their lane, and we do have a catapult wave here, so I do use Poison Touch. That one was probably a little bit ambitious, although I did send out Clarity, so I can just back up, use a Clarity, and use my Poison Touch again afterwards. Since it is nighttime, my Night Stalker is going to be able to keep the pressure up on them, and we're going to speed this lane up a little bit, see what I do. So while Night Stalker is putting pressure forward, I'm going to pull a little bit. And I actually only get 2 creeps off there, which is my bad, but still we get a little bit of a pull off, and we're able to put pressure on the Ancient Apparition again. So he does have the Poison Touch on him, gets killed with the Poison Touch, and now my Night Stalker can just back up again. The Poison Touch along with the movement speed of the Night Stalker, very nice for kills. Ooh, and then the nice Sunstrike goes down, and I just back out here. We're at 11 minutes and 30 seconds here, and we've sort of forced the other heroes out of the lane. So what I'm going to do now is push this wave as fast as I can. Notice that I used both Poison Touch and Shadow Wave to push that wave forward so we can have as many creeps hitting this tower as possible. I also have the Arcane Boots at this point, which is a very nice timing. Having them before 10 minute or around the 10-minute mark is really nice. I do make a rotation top. Let's see what happens here. Void is fighting people. I noticed that this fight's going on. Our Clockwork, or their Clockwork is going on our Undying, but I do come over here and get a couple shadow waves off. So we did take the bottom tower, and how does this fight turn out? I placed this ward up here, and that's a very important thing to do as a support, is place wards during fights. If I had a sentry, I would have placed the sentry as well. Oh, I did. I put it down there. Very nice. So now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna stand in the background and try to cast my spells as often as possible. I'm not trying to get myself in a position where I need to grave anybody. And notice that I did go 3 in grave, 3 in Poison Touch, because both spells are useful. Puck is taking some damage from the Poison Touch, but now we're pushing top tower. After we just took bottom, we're rotating and pushing top, and I believe I'm gonna heal up this creep here. I do this sometimes when I'm pushing a tower with the creeps. I'll just heal the creep wave even if there's nothing there to do damage on, especially if there's a catapult because you can do extra damage to the tower the longer you keep your creeps alive and stop the tower from hitting your creeps. Unfortunately, everyone had respawned and I knew we weren't going to be there for long, so I'm out of here. I'm just back here, and then the invoker is going to come and kill me because I was a bozo. So I shouldn't have stayed in the lane that long. I should have got out. Fortunately for me, none of my cores died, just myself, and there's not going to be a lot of damage they're going to be able to do this. They're going to be able to do to this tower. 14 minutes and 25 seconds in, my thought process right now. So I've teleported to the bottom of the map to take this farm here. Even as the position 4, I've come here to take this farm because I know the 15-minute runes are coming up, and I know that my cores don't really want to play down here. My Luna wants to farm the jungle, farm this triangle here along with the ancients for this time being, and my other cores are in the other lanes. So I want to come over this way and try to get the bounty runes. This gives me the opportunity to take this stack, come over this way, and I also farmed this creep camp, by the way. I didn't show it, but I did use poison touch to farm that creep camp. I did see this this ward here, and instead of going to kill that ward, I opted to take the bounty rune, because if I would have walked that way, I had the potential of getting myself killed. And then I place vision on this high ground because I know that there's potential for them to come take this tower. As a support player, that's what you want to do with your vision game. You want to try to anticipate where a fight's going to be, or put vision in a very good offensive position. With the team that we have here, we have a Luna and a Tinker, which means that we probably don't want to try to push very hard super early. We want Tinker to get Boots of Travel and Blink, which he has, and we want Luna to get up to whatever item he's going for. He's not going for the Dominator strategy. He went Mask of Madness into Yasha, but probably get up to a BKB. So that's what we're looking for out of Luna. And now a fight's breaking out mid, so actually we'll just get into this and see how it goes. First thing I'm going to try to do is wave this, and then I'm going to get caught in a Chronosphere. Beautiful. And actually, that didn't turn out that badly. Our Night Stalker got taken out, but I didn't get killed, and a good Shadow Wave ended up helping us out there. Still not a nice play, but you can see how much damage that Shadow Wave does right there, using it on top of the invoker gets him killed. We got the clockwork kill as well, I believe. Maybe we didn't, but we did a lot of damage to the clockwork. And here's the AH throwing out the AA blast. If you do play against an ancient apparition, the thing about how he works, for those of you who are newer to the game, is his ice blast stops all healing, which means that all of your spells are useless while you're frostbitten. So don't try to heal the way I am right there. It doesn't work. I shouldn't have done it. But pro tip, don't heal while you're frostbitten. And now we're just going to push this mid tower, and we're actually going to get a lot more map control by being able to push this tower. Our catapult's still hitting it, our Luna's still hitting it, and then I'm just going to Shadow Wave him a little bit more. Luna's going to move forward, try to kill the Void, or try to do some damage to the Void. Void's just going to back out. Luna has used her Mask of Madness, and now the mid tower goes down. So we definitely got the best of that fight, even though our Tinker's gone. It turned out our Tinker and our Night Stalker were gone, but it turned out all right. So I mentioned this earlier, but just to reiterate, one really nice thing you can do as position 4 or 5 Dazzle is push out lanes that other people can't be in. So this is a very dangerous place to be on the map. If you take a look at the mini map, all we know is where this puck is. I didn't even know where he was before. I could have died here, but if I die, they've rotated a bunch of heroes to the bottom of the map to kill a position 4 or 5 Dazzle, and if I don't die, then what we have is our lane bottom pushing in. So that's good for me. I have the lane pushing in. It frees up space for the rest of our cores to farm our jungle, our mid lane, our off lane a little bit, and somebody's gonna have to come react to this the way Puck did. So I also farmed here with a poison touch. I have my spells maxed out. I'm actually not taking the plus 50 damage yet. I took 2 points in shallow grave this game because of Void's Chronosphere. I'm worried that I'm gonna need to save my Luna or my Tinker outside of a Chronosphere, so I'm not even taking my talent tree at this point. I'm taking the additional cast range. I think that's the better option this game. And while Luna farms the safe camps here, I'm doing the dangerous thing and pushing this wave in, because Luna's not gonna want to be here. Now we see a fight breaking out over here, so we are gonna rotate. Night Stalker is going to try to get some stuff going, and everyone's just going to kind of back out here. No harm, no foul. Luna manages to push one more wave because she saw that the fight was breaking out mid, and now she's going to back up and safely continue farming. So Some people would consider this taking farm from your core. However, this is basically shoving a lane. This is pushing a lane in to put pressure on the enemy team to come to that lane, so they have to defend it. If they have to defend it, they show on the map. You know where their heroes are, which gives your cores the advantage of being able to farm more safely. All right, here comes Dazzle pro tip: how to save yourself while shallow graved. Now, one mistake I make right here is I do pop these Guardian Greaves early. I got a little bit of an animation bug going on, but that's okay. So I just use shallow grave on myself, ignore the animation bug, and you're gonna see here that it looks like I'm a goner, right? You can see over your tooltip how much time left you have on shallow grave. So what you're gonna want to do is not pop your wand or your Guardian Greaves until right before shallow grave is about to end. So notice that I'm gonna cast my shadow wave on myself. I use my magic wand. Right now, my Luna came in from the back, stunned him for a quick second, and that gave me just enough time to escape. So I was able to keep myself alive by the skin of my teeth. And this fight does go very poorly here, but a lot of the times you can get away with your shadow grave like this. And I don't know if actually how this ends up going. I'm pretty sure we all die, or I end up getting myself killed. No, Luna doesn't die yet. Throw the poison touch on the clockwork. Void is gonna come in, and Void, yeah, I remember now, Void's gonna kill me. Yeah, I end up dying, but still it was okay because I'm pretty sure Luna doesn't die in this fight. All right, I'm a liar. No, I'm not. Nice, it's okay. So they wasted a lot of time and effort trying to kill me there, right? Like, they used a Dream Coil, Faceless Void came in and time walked forward, which gives him a few seconds without time walk, and then everyone was attacking me for a little bit while I was invulnerable. That wasn't overall like the worst way I could have played that. I definitely could have played it better. So that's the tip right there. When you are shallow graved, wait until shallow grave cooldown is almost expired and then pop all of your healing. Don't do it at the beginning because you're invulnerable for those last few seconds, or for the 5 seconds anyways. Pop all of your healing at the end, unless of course you need to pop your healing to save one of your cores and you're a support player. At this point, our scores are pretty even in the game. I'm just pointing out how I'm pushing this tower here. So notice that they have fortified. I'm using my spells and my items consistently to keep my creep wave alive and to heal up my team while I'm fighting. Like I said, Dazzle doesn't really have mana issues. I'm about to be level 16. I only have like a 24.8 second cooldown on these Guardian Greaves, so I can use them often, and it's really not a problem. I can use my shadow wave pretty often. You don't think about mana. What you think about is casting your spells as often as you can. And I also have a clarity in my backpack. I have a lot of clarities with me all the time, so just in case I'm walking around the map, I can without fighting and I'm low on mana, I can get myself the mana that I need. And this really helps with pushes. Being able to consistently keep your creep wave alive will help your team be able to push. So our creep wave is still alive. I'm standing in the background. I'm trying to stand away from the chrono. Notice that this chrono goes off here. I do keep my Tinker alive here. So I keep my Tinker alive, but he ends up getting killed. My Luna had an Aegis. That was my thought process right there. My Luna had an Aegis. I didn't grave her. I graved my Tinker. My Tinker ended up dying. That's okay. I thought maybe Tinker would be able to get out with my additional healing, but he wasn't. So my Luna's back and we're able to turn this fight. Luna drops Eclipse. We kill the Faceless Void. We've killed the Clockwork, and after that we're gonna go ahead and take this set of racks. And I'm just gonna continue standing in the background, healing as often as I can. I have a Glimmer Cape available in my stash as well, so that is very, very good for my team. And also, the reason I went for a Glimmer Cape this game, I could have also went for a Solar Crest. A Solar Crest would have been a really good item, especially with Luna. The reason I went for a Glimmer is because of Void's Chronosphere. If I can Glimmer somebody inside of Chronosphere, that might be a save. And if I can Glimmer Luna or anybody who Invoker goes on or who Ancient Apparition goes on, it's a 45% magic resistance for the time that they're it gives you 45% magic resistance for the time that they're glimmered. So you kind of think of what's your threat. Is it magical or physical damage? Even though Void is a physical damage threat, he can't hit you if he can't see. Well, he can hit you inside of a Chrono because Chrono gives Chrono gives True Sight, but he can't hit you if he time walks forward and you glimmer him away. And that's something else that you can do on Dazzle yourself. You can just glimmer and walk away, especially because a lot of cores aren't going to have detection. So when a core jumps on you in the back line, you can glimmer yourself and back up and shallow grave, and then shadow wave yourself. The other thing I didn't really mention that I should say quickly is that the cast animation on Shallow Grave is really long, so you have to use it a little bit early. Anticipate that it takes what's the time on it? I don't know exactly what the cast delay is on Shallow Grave, but it's pretty long, so you have to anticipate who's being gone on, and how early you're gonna need to use it. Sometimes you got to pop it a little like preemptively and you might waste it, but it's better to waste it sometimes than not to cast it at all and just get yourself killed without doing anything. Now my Luna is gonna try to get out of here. What's gonna happen here? Does my Luna die? I think she might. There's a puck here. Luna, save yourself. Oh, I think both of us mess up and die here. Oh, I grave my Luna right before I die, and I think Luna actually turns this. Not bad, not bad. So that's okay. Anyway, we got the Rex, kept Luna alive, graved her right before I died, and we called it a day. On to our second high ground push that we're pushing off here. Now, this is just kind of be wary of where you're standing as Dazzle. Understand what your threats are. So if I'm looking at this game, I have certain threats that I'm really worried about. I don't want to be up in here and vulnerable to this Chronosphere. So Void did try to catch me in this Chrono, but he didn't. He also didn't catch Luna. Now there's two heroes here. I managed to get a grave off on my Undying. I should have graved my Night Stalker. I actually tried to, I just misclicked. But my Night Stalker dies, my Undying ends up going down. I did manage to grave him, however I am still in the background here casting spells, or casting all kinds of spells and heals, reducing armor, giving Guardian Greaves mana and Shadow Waves as often as I can to my two core heroes, and we're just able to push forward here. Everyone has to back off. There's all of this march going down by Tinker. Luna's pushing very fast. We still have the Tombstone, and Void doesn't have Chronosphere anymore, so there's really not much they can do. We do manage to take the Rex, and now we're just gonna back out of here pretty safely. Now we're on to mid Dazzle, and here we're going to point out one thing right away. Use your Shadow Wave to get last hits on range creeps. Second thing we're going to point out is how powerful Poison Touch is. Poison touches the Shadow Fiend. Now he's staying close to Shadow Fiend so he can't get a second raise off. However, he doesn't want to get under tower. He does get a little bit closer. That guy has a Fairy Fire. Our Dazzle also has a Fairy Fire, so he's going to get hit by one more. He's being hit by... the Shadow Fiend is being hit by the Poison Touch DPS, and it continuously gets refreshed because Dazzle's continuously hitting him. So he manages to get the kill on the Shadow Fiend and unfortunately eats an arrow and dies right there. So that is pretty cool. Now what we're gonna do is mega speed up the game so we can point out how he plays this lane, because the important thing we want to talk about here, Shadow Fiend essentially resigns. He's like, all right, I'm up against the Dazzle. He's got Poison Touch. He's got Shadow Wave. I don't want to mess with this guy. I just want to clear the wave as often as I can. Look what he does here. 3 minutes and 55 seconds, stacks the wave, comes over here, gets a last hit. He sees that this ruin is up here as well, so he's able to get the ruin, comes get the illusion, and then he continues farming. So we're gonna speed up one more time as he just plays the lane a little bit. No Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's gonna come forward sometimes, clear the waves. you see Dazzle force him out of wave, and then he comes back and does the same thing again at the 6 minute mark. He stacks again and he stacks again, checks the rune, knows where the rune is, and then comes back to the mid wave to continue pushing forward and putting pressure on the tower. So we're 8 minutes and 9 minutes in. Dazzle just got his Necro books. At the 8 minute mark, he did one more stack, one more rune check, and now he's coming over here with his 3 points in Poison Touch, 4 points in Shadow Wave, and he's taking this massive stack of of creeps that he has here. I think this was a quadruple stack. It looks like it was. And using Shadow Wave on himself and on the creeps, he's able to take this stack pretty easily. He finds also a Trusty Shovel, which is like the best item you can find on Dazzle because of your cooldown reduction. Just phenomenal. And now he's gonna just play this lane, which becomes pretty free. So we're gonna be done looking at this game because he got a very fast timing. He's gonna go straight for the Necro 3s. When he gets the Necro 3s, the way he's gonna play the game is by walking around the map with his Necro units. He's going to de-ward everything. He's going to put pressure on all kinds of parts of the map, and eventually they're going to choke them in and take complete control of this game and end it very soon. And now to look at some Offlane Dazzle. So first thing you'll notice is right away he poison touches the Ember Spirit, forcing him back farther under tower while also managing to help himself get control of lane equilibrium. So the creep wave pushed under his tower in that lane. Now his whole creep wave is back here, and he's able to have the lane equilibrium set all the way back here, which gives him the advantage of being able to chase somebody down when poison touches up. And he's up against a melee hard carry in Ember Spirit who doesn't have the best escape mechanics or ability to get out of trouble before level 6, so it puts him in a lot of trouble. Now notice that Dazzle's laning partner is a Spirit Breaker who you don't see in lane right now. He's hiding over here in the bottom right corner. This is a very good laning partner for Spirit Breaker, or for Dazzle. So we do get the poison touch off on Ember Spirit. He gets saved by Keeper of the Light with the blinding light, and now Dazzle is just controlling the wave, which is really, really good for his lane. You can see that the wave is pushing forward into him. He controls where the equilibrium is, and this is not where Ember wants to play. Ember wants to be playing here, so he has his tower for safety. If he's playing up here, it means that Dazzle can poison touch him and chase him down with himself and with the Spirit Breaker charge of Darkness. So this is really, really good for Dazzle, the way he's controlling this lane. Actually, at this moment, he's basically dominating the lane. Now, for how long he'll dominate, I don't know, but we'll talk about real quick good laning partners with Dazzle. So if you think about position 4s, think about heroes who can close distance quickly. Those heroes are good with Dazzle because it replenishes his poison touch duration. So if you can replenish his poison touch duration, it means that you'll be able to more likely get a kill on an enemy core. Now Ember's moving back here. The Spirit Breaker is still level 1. At level 2, they might be able to do something a little bit more, but right now Dazzle has got all of the experience in lane, and he's consistently throwing right clicks off on Ember. Now the core Dazzles I've been seeing have not been going for Orb of Venom. They've basically been going for their starting items that build into Necro Book first. So I've been seeing double Sage's masks sometimes. I've been seeing one Sage mask plus regen and things like that. This guy went for a magic stick, which is good. And Ember's getting a lot of hits. Ember's taking a lot of damage right now. Now he does Flame Guard. Flame Guard stops magical damage, which is okay, but if he uses Shadow Wave and Poison Touch, these do physical damage. So right now he ends up taking the kill. I don't think he was gonna live there anyway. He overextended a little bit, so the poison touch was really good for him, and now Dazzle has complete control of the lane. He did go boots first as well. Some Dazzles will skip their boots in favor of going for the faster Necro Book, but not this Dazzle. This Dazzle is gonna go for the Necro Book and just try, not this Dazzle. This Dazzle is going to go for the boots so he doesn't get caught out in lane, because if he does get caught out, he would be in danger of dying. Now he does poison touch once again, hits the Ember Spirit. The blinding light is this Ember's saving grace right now. If there wasn't a Coddle in the lane being able to blinding light, if he had a weaker support, he would probably die more often, because the poison touch would refresh and Ember would continue to tick down and probably go down. Spirit Breaker is also doing his fair share of work in this lane, and Dazzle's doing exactly what he needs to. 18 last hits, 10 denies. Let's see what happens here. Trying to put a little bit of pressure on the Spirit Breaker, but he's not able to. Now the other reason that heroes like Spirit Breaker or heroes like Weaver, for example, would be good as position 4s with Dazzle is because in addition to being able to refresh the Poison Touch cooldown, they're able to close distance on the carries and allow Dazzle to shadow wave them, doing a significant amount of damage. So if right now there was a Weaver who could Sakuchi in here right next to this guy and you shadow wave just like that, but with a Weaver there, and then you can start attacking with your Weaver, you'd be able to do a lot of damage. Now obviously Spirit Breaker is a good hero for that scenario, but anyways, we've basically seen this Dazzle completely control this lane up until this point, and now I think he'll go down soon, but what I'm gonna do is skip forward a little bit. Yeah, actually he gets rotated on here by an Earth Spirit, but what I'm gonna do after, does he die? Let's see. By the skin of his teeth he makes it out. What I'm gonna do is move forward a little bit to the next important point of this game. Dazzle killed Ember died, Earth Spirit rotated, Dazzle had enough gold to buy his Necro book, Dazzle died, and now Dazzle's back in lane. And what I want to show now is the farming patterns of this hero and what he's able to do once he gets his Necro book up. So first and foremost is the fact that he can take creep camps that most other heroes can't at such an early level. Ooh, he's getting gone on by Earth Spirit again. Oh, manages to dodge the boulder, backs up here, he's getting gone on, has 1 point in graves himself. I didn't realize he was going to be in such peril so early. Has a healing salve as well, and waits for the Ember. Does a little bit of damage. That's okay. Okay, I thought he was going to go straight. I didn't think he was going to get gone on there, but anyways, what he's able to do that other heroes can't very easily is start taking Ancients the second he gets his Necro book. So he gets his Necro book, Ancients are in trouble. He's able to start attacking Ancients, he's able to start farming his next item, and his next item that he wants is the Arcane Boots, because he has bad juju, reduction in cooldown, which means that he will be able to basically supply himself with almost an infinite amount of mana. And he also gives himself a nice little royal jelly, using Poison Touch as well on the creep waves. Very nice. You can use Shadow Wave or Poison Touch. He's going for multiple points in Shallow Grave now. He decides to stop at 2 points in Poison Touch, and I'm going to quickly talk about why he does that. He's going to get 4 points in Shallow Grave early. It's because of the heroes that he's playing against. If you take a look at his opponents, there's a Phoenix and there's a Keeper of the Light. What he wants to be able to do is Shallow Grave somebody who's stuck inside of a Will-O-Wisp, or Shallow Grave somebody who's stuck too close to the egg. If you're close to the egg and he manages to Shallow Grave you, you're not in danger of dying. You're probably not in significant danger of dying because Lifestealer has spell immunity. He won't be stunned. There's no BKB piercing stuns on that team. So if Lifestealer rages and just starts attacking and he's shallow graved, he can basically guarantee to take out the Phoenix Egg or the Keeper of the Light Will-O-Wisp whilst Dazzle stays outside of the circle. And now he's just going to continue farming ancient camps and continuously farming jungles as quickly as possible while the rest of his team tries to control the map. We're going to move forward. We're not going to watch this fight at this moment. Actually, we'll watch this fight. Why not? See how he plays this out. There is a Fiend's Grip going down on the Earth Spirit. All right, here's the egg, and this is what Dazzle wants to do. He wants to Shallow Grave. Yeah, exactly what he wants to do. He wants to Shallow Grave and back out. Unfortunately, the Spirit Breaker dies, and it looks like their whole team is taking quite a bit of damage here. Yeah, they lose that team fight pretty badly. But that was kind of the concept right there. He wants to be able to stay out of the range of the egg, or close enough to get, or far enough away so he doesn't get hit with the stun and is still able to Shallow Grave. Same with the Will-O-Wisp. He wants to be able to stay far enough away for that. Now this is an exercise in farming patterns, so keep up, guys. I am going to basically go through this at ultra fast speed. The only thing you need to pay attention to is his farming patterns and how fast he's going to farm the map. So we're going to go at 8 times speed here. We're going to forget about this team fight and just watch Dazzle. Clears the mid wave, clears the camp, clears another camp, goes to another medium camp, on his way back top, clears top, the minutes have respawned, so the camps have respawned, and he is just continuously pushing out waves very quickly while using his Necro Book and his Poison Touch to farm. Farms again, clears another Ancient stack, and now a fight's breaking out. He has a mech, he has a Necro Book, and he has his Arcane Boots. Unfortunately, he does get caught out under here. He backs up a little bit, has Grave available, and is going to be able to, I think, save this Lifestealer. Let's see. We'll see if Lifestealer needs it. He's waiting patiently to find out if Lifestealer needs this Grave. He doesn't want to use it too soon, but he doesn't want to use it too late. Throwing Poison Touches down, and now he uses the Grave. Lifestealer's backing up. Does not have the mech available at the moment, has already used it, clears the Treants. And while his team did lose that team fight, how's the Lifestealer doing? Lifestealer's not too far behind on farm. He has an Armlet and almost a Desolator. It's not the worst thing in the world, but that was just an exercise in farming patterns. You saw how many camps Dazzle was able to farm. He consistently just went back and forth for about 2 minutes between this camp, or sorry, this jungle, farming everything here, up to this jungle, farming everything here. Then the minute respawned, he farmed everything again, and at the same time he took mid wave twice and he took top wave once. So he was able to get so much farm in such a short period of time, and now he basically has Guardian Greaves at 20 minutes. At 20 minutes he has Necro Book and Guardian Greaves. That's a lot of farm on an offlane core, and it gives him the ability to heal up his cores so much in the coming fights. Up until this point, Dazzle's team's been losing pretty badly. It's 21-8, and Dazzle is actually just, they're initiating a fight here. Now, one thing I want to point out right there was really important. Notice the way that Dazzle is going to use his Guardian Greaves. He's going to get rooted right here, use his Greaves to pop the root, go forward, and get the Illusion Ruin. This gives them the opportunity to go on Ember. Now, Ember's not going to die, but at the same time, it was a really nice use of Greaves right there, and Ember had to use Remnants to get out. Now, they are going to engage in a battle here. This is going to be a full-out assault, and we're going to watch the way it goes down. Coddle's in the background here. He manages to get a Will-O-Wisp down, and Dazzle is in a little bit of danger. So he gets 4-staffed up the hill. He used his Greaves again. He's going to pop his Necro Book, and now they're going to just try to close distance on the rest of these heroes. They have a lot of heroes that can catch. They have the Bane, who obviously has good disables. They have the Spirit Breaker, who has the ability to stun. They've got a distance closer in Spirit Breaker and in Void Spirit, and then they've got the core in Lifestealer, who can also infest and join either the Void Spirit or the Spirit Breaker for the distance closing. So they were able to turn that fight around right there, and a lot of it was, not a lot of it, but a really big part, or a good start to that fight, was the popping of the Guardian Greaves to dispel the root. So there is a perfect example of how good Guardian Greaves can be in terms of getting in terms of having a good basic dispel available to you. Our next fight is about to break out, but I want to point out Dazzle's third item, and you have to really think about this. It has a lot to do with why he went with max points in Shallow Grave before Poison Touch. He went for a 4-staff. In addition to 4-staff being a great utility item, what it is in addition to it being a great utility item, he gets to use it more frequently because of his cooldown reduction talent. So he gets to save people who get caught in Will-O-Wisp, including himself, which he's about to do right now, and he gets to save people who are too close to the egg. So we see him 4-staff himself forward here to get out of the range of the Will-O-Wisp, and the Bane is helping him out with the Fiend's Grip on the Earth Spirit. That's what his name is, on the Earth Spirit. Now here comes the Ember Spirit. He's trying to do some damage over here. Our Dazzle gets stunned, gets put to sleep, casts a Grave on himself, and is going to teleport out of this battle safe and sound, I believe. Just gets out. There's the healing, and he buys himself a fairy fire to keep himself alive. Holy moly, that was interesting stuff. That was a pretty cool play right there. So you got to see some nice stuff. That was actually a much better sequence from Bane than from Dazzle, I will say that. But the Force Staff is really big. The Force Staff is the nice item you want to buy there, and he did pop off Guardian Greaves multiple times during that fight, and his team is coming back in this game. They're still down 23-13, but they're winning team fights, and they're winning them in the mid game, where it's way more important than getting a bunch of kills early. I mean, a bunch of kills early does help you win the mid game, but if you lose multiple fights in the mid lane, then the tides can swing regardless of what the kill score is. The last thing I want to show off is going to be the power of the Glimmer Cape, especially when he has bad juju at 50% cooldown reduction. So notice right now, okay, first off, Force Staff forward, popping off his Medallion of Courage, which he also has, using his Poison Touch. Basically every spell has gone off. He has Guardian Greaves being used as well. This Ember Spirit, the chances of him killing anybody are really low, and I'm going to slow this down so we can watch everything happen. But the Glimmer Cape, this is what is going to be so detrimental for the enemy team, because they don't have enough detection. Even if they did, Dazzle has a Force Staff to get himself all around the map, and basically anyone who tries to go on Dazzle's gonna Glimmer himself away. He has it activated for 5 seconds, and it only has a cooldown of 7 seconds, meaning that he gets to and he also repositions himself very nicely right there with the Force Staff, meaning that he has invisibility to keep himself safe all of the time. Now he's not worried about dying here. He uses a grave on the life stealer. Really didn't need that. That was super preemptive. Maybe he was worried about, I don't know what he was worried about, but anyway, Graves the life stealer glimmers himself all around. He's continuing to glimmer himself out of danger, and now he's just throwing down poison touches, and he basically had himself glimmered almost that whole fight. While people were trying to do damage to him, he was keeping everyone else alive, kiting heroes around, Force Staffing up and down cliffs, popping off Glimmer Capes, using his Medallion of Courage, using the Necro Books, shadow waving, poison touching, shallow graving. This guy did it all, and that was basically like, that was peak Dazzle right there. That was peak Dazzle. He has so many items. He has so much farm. He has all of his levels, and also he went for the movement speed talent over the 36 poison touch DPS talent. I did advocate for going for the DPS talent. If you look at the heroes in this game, I think it's better to take the movement speed talent as well, even if he has the Force Staff already. So that was peak Dazzle, guys. That was a bit of a different guide. I know we had a lot of different examples from a bunch of different games, and it's not typically how I do it. I didn't watch one full game. I tried to get bits and pieces of everything, and I threw some supporting stuff in there, which was a little bit different than what I normally do, which is mostly core things. I've been playing more support lately, and I've been particularly enjoying position 4 Dazzle, so I had a really good time making this guide. I hope everybody here enjoyed it as well. My name is Navitz, representing my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, and this video was brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class. Thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, one love.